Dementia residents say that you have to problem solve to live in a dementia unit and that nobody teaches you how to do that. If you've lived with a lot of people before, that's good, but for many people they haven't. So living with and speaking with a lot of people all day long is very difficult. For those that have, though, lived in big families, who have travelled, who have had jobs with lots of different staff members to associate with, then that past experience they can draw on to be able to utilise living in a dementia facility with lots of people. But if you've been living alone for much of your life or your senior life on your own in a home, you're not, visited by many people, then all of a sudden being launched into a dementia unit with 30 other people day and night is a vast adjustment. So it really depends on the individual and the person themselves, how they adjust to the circumstance and how much they can draw on life experience and problem solve their way through and hopefully make it a positive experience living in a dementia unit. Now, for example, if the dementia resident is a farmer, a common case in New Zealand, maybe he's lived on the farm for many years on his own, his wife's passed away, so he's a solo setup where he likes his own company, but he's good at problem solving. Now, he's going to find it very difficult living with 30 people, but it's very important for a person like him to get orientated to the lie of the land, so to speak, just like a farm. Not just to be orientated to the unit itself inside, which he can probably do himself because he'll have good direction orientation, hopefully from the farm or historical memory of that, to be able to work things out, but the actual placement of the dementia unit in the retirement village. So when he looks out the window, he can see where everything is. Take that person, take the man, the gentleman who's been the farmer, out for walks in the retirement village grounds, with orientation being the whole purpose of the exercise, along with fitness, of course, and, having a nice time outdoors with you, but orientate him to all the aspects, just like you would on a farm. Here's one paddock, here's where the sheep are, here's where the cattle are. In the same way, where the hospital is, where the independent living is, where the gardens are, where the tool shed is, where the maintenance building is, just so that he can see, where everything is in relation to where he's living. So when he looks out the window, he has context and assimilation. That surveillance capacity is still there, so he can look out and orientate as to where he is in context to the scheme of things. Now, if though another example being that your grandmother, say, has come into the dementia unit and she's come from assisted living in the retirement village complex to the dementia unit. Now, when you take her for a walk past her old place, for example, it may well be that she sees her neighbour there, her prior neighbour. And if you stop and chat with her, all sorts of things can be garnered by a conversation. When's happy hour? What special events are coming up? What's the latest news? Has anyone else arrived? I mean, that's probably not so important, but just the latest chit chat you can have with the prior neighbour. But the big thing to really assimilate is that prior neighbour, maybe they were best friends before, often are, new best friends. Is she keen to keep the company of your grandmother? Or is she a little hesitant and backing off? If she's warm and friendly and engaging and says, oh, it's lovely to meet you, your grandmother, lovely to meet you, Audrey, we're having the happy hour on Friday, which we've always gone to, would you like to come? Fabulous. If you can take Granny there, arm in arm, to the happy hour, Audrey's going to be there, that's a lovely time, perfect. But if Audrey's a little bit wary and standoffish, never mind, don't go forward with it. Just keep with the happy hour at the dementia unit where all the feelings are good and encouraging and positive, because stigma and prejudice plays a big part often in retirement villages. So it's just important to go in the avenue of least resistance and good positive feelings. So work that out. If though in contrast you go past the hairdresser salon and your grandmother's favourite hairdressers there, and she's smiley, friendly, lovely, very happy to see your grandmother. Of course, have a chat there. Good example and a good time to update the hairdresser on your grandmother's preference with hairdos. Maybe it's become a bit too curly and wavy and your grandmother prefers it sort of straighter and bobbed, whatever the arrangement. So if you can speak to the hairdresser at that time, you can exchange information. Many things you can do on walks around the retirement village, and just see the favourite places that you can resource, access and get benefit from. If your grandmother likes reading, maybe the library's opposite the hairdresser salon. Actually, they often are in a little complex. The resources for the residents are in one place. Coffee shop, library, hairdresser and beautician all in one place. So go there, and if your grandmother likes reading House and Garden, get some out so she can have a few copies that week in her room. And when you wheel her back the following week for her hairdressing appointment, you can drop off the magazines and get some new ones. So this is the way to not just rely totally on the dementia unit for resources. Indeed, not to do that at all, really, because often it's very lean and slim, whereas in the retirement village itself, there's more resources that you can tap into. The library, for example, going to the hairdresser, and happy hour if the former friends of your grandmother are welcoming. So I've written up on these topics, many topics, in these books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, both from a dementia unit, on Amazon and my website, pietavalentine.com. So please subscribe. Thank you for your interest. Thank you.